Hello Collective, thanks for joining me. I hope you're all doing well. So I thought let's take a little look at what's going on in the energy for the collective. We will see what you're moving into over these next couple of days, or if there's anything standing out that you need to be aware of. So, as always, please remember just to take that resonates and leave the rest. Don't try to make it fit. And change roles and gender to that suits your situation. We've got foundation and achievements at the bottom of the deck. So you could be moving, or you could be making renovations or changes around the home. You could have family coming to stay, or you could be going away somewhere. It felt like a Airbnb for some reason. So number 4 and Airbnb may be significant. So with that Airbnb, it felt like if it was a holiday within your own country. Obviously UK is smaller than the US. No, shock horror, you learn something new every day. But it's for you to be holiday in the same place in the US, it's obviously looking different because you've got to get planes to most of the places. It's so big. Whereas in the UK, we can get a plane somewhere, but we can also really just drive and have holiday there. So it's something like a holiday within your own whatever. Not going abroad, not traveling over water. So not going by plane. So driving somewhere. If you don't drive, then it's however, like, I don't know, coach or someone's taking you. Not seeing that bit, but it's something very, it's like I want to say the Cotswolds or something like that. So that could be somewhere that you've been thinking of going, or you are going, or you could have just come back, or somebody lives there. Because it kind of felt that Airbnb was because it was feeling like a homely feel, but maybe you're going to stay with friends or relatives. There's something about that, or an arrangement too. It feels positive. Journey might feel a bit long, but from what I can pick up at the minute, it feels like it's positive. All right, so that may have nothing to do with what's coming up, but just to give you that. And then we've got shadow side. So just to finish with that bit I was saying, you may be in two minds whether to go. It may feel like it's a bit of a hassle, but the feeling was that it would be worth it in the end. Something about transport or getting there. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got. So we've got the solar plexus chakra, stand your ground, memories of love, harmony, and sacrifice. Okay, so you're following not a calling, but if we were to just use that example of in two minds whether to either go abroad for a holiday or just have a holiday at home, that type of one. But you're following either a hunch or an intuitive nudge, something like that. It doesn't feel like you're able to place it enough to make the connection as to why and the purpose and reason, but that alone, picking up on that, is a good start. So I was already picking up that something's positive from that trip. So I would be mindful of talking yourself out of something, because it may feel like it's a hassle, or that it's not going to go smoothly, something like that. It feels, it's kind of like judging, oh, it's going to be a hassle, so you just don't even approach it, or you don't begin. Whereas once you've got there, it's like, oh, that journey wasn't actually too bad, something like that. So talking yourself out of something, so be mindful then of having those thoughts projected to you. So it could be a conversation, someone say, oh yeah, I went there, but it was a nightmare to get there, and then that put you off going, which people do. They don't go places because someone's give their opinion of what they thought, which is fair enough, but there's something more within this. Something about mountains. So are you doing a climb? So it doesn't necessarily have to be where I've said, but I'm seeing like a like, what are they, like a not a walking holiday, worse for me, but I'm definitely seeing like it's like, say if you were in Wales or something like that, doing walks and things. So maybe you're an outdoors, it could be something for charity. It feels like an endurance, stamina, that could be. Resilience for something. Stand your ground. So I feel one of the messages maybe for some of you as well is the making a decision and sticking to it. With the shadow side being underneath there's that tendency to if we're not so set on a decision, then we can be influenced by people. Oh yeah, it's no good, or it isn't. It kind of is an easy way just to make your mind up. That's for some, not all, but there's something about a decision that you're going to make that you may be able to take it. It's neither here nor there. It doesn't feel like there's a real emphasis on whether you go somewhere or whether you don't, or whatever the decision turns out to be. But actually it's like that's the hidden part. So it's about making a decision and sticking to it. You may be going through lessons of that, I suppose. Just cast your mind back. What are you like for decision making? Some people are really good at it, they're able to jump to it. Others need a little bit more time, and then others like to ask a few different opinions and their take, which is all right, that's what works for them, before they come to an answer. There's something to do with that. Maybe you're having a bit more of a testing or a strengthening of your intuition. Could be being guided to put yourself in more healthier, safer positions to test it out more, or exercise it, or be in a position to trust it. So okay. So we've got here memories of love. Again, with that, it feels like you're being guided away from how you normally do something. if you've recently come out of a relationship, because that's what I was seeing there, that there's something that this energy felt like you were moving forward in a stand in your ground, a strong energy. But as I was coming to there, it felt like it shifted. So it kind of felt, is this something being projected on, or is this your thoughts? So for those that have recently ended a relationship, whether it was you or them or for whatever reason, there's something about if you've come to terms with it wasn't working out and you've both parted ways, then it doesn't mean that you've got to be thrown into like months and months or whatever of healing. It's down for you, your resilience of how you bounce back. So if someone ends a relationship and the other one really didn't want to, then they weren't ready, then that's going to push their healing process that little bit longer and they've got more to work through. But if it was like amicable, sometimes it is, or if you were in a position that you were ready to call it a day and walk away, then there's no times that you've got to be like, oh, they were out the next week partying, that must have meant that I meant nothing to them. It's not even about that. People heal different ways, don't they? But there's something about how that you're taking away from that relationship. So even if it's not one that you've just finished, it may well be the last one that you were in, or the most significant one. There's something that which is why I'm seeing like the mountains or the walking. It's almost like being out with your thoughts, and there's something that you're being guided to reflect back over. It doesn't feel like it's a traumatic memory, or it doesn't feel like you're going to be like, oh, I wish it hadn't have ended, and it's nothing like that. But it feels like you're being guided to remember to take the essence and the good parts of relationship dynamics and hold on to those, because not just because the relationship finishes in a bad way, which most of them do, not all, but just because that's how it's ended, that shouldn't override the whole relationship, unless obviously the whole relationship was an absolute disaster. But you're going to know that, and I doubt that that would be the one that you'll be drawing memories from. So just know that you just because a relationship hasn't worked out, it doesn't mean that you've wasted your life or you've sacrificed this. You may have give up things for a relationship, but in the sense of that it's never a waste, because there's always things that you're collecting and using as tools within your healing process. But what give you the resilience and that calling, the essence of the good parts of the relationship, are what's in tune with your intuition when you're being guided to new love. So love begins keeps showing. It's like giving another rainbow. So there's rainbows here. So with the yellow, you're being guided. So regardless of how long you've been single or what relationship you're drawing on, it just feels I need to stress it's just like an ease of reflecting back, rather than thinking of some memories and then it's pulling up something that's raw, or you're spinning into some kind of upsetting memory bank cycle. It doesn't feel like that. It just feels that either there's an acceptance around the thoughts and you're just watching them come and go, but it's within that frame of mind or within that stage that there's something really, like, it's like, I want to say sacred, or there's a real not like golden nugget, but it's something, it's like a real gem, beautiful essence, capturing of an essence, regardless of the person or the fittest. There's something within the energy of that, and it feels that that's what your spirit guides are wanting you to be able to extract from whatever those thoughts are or that particular memory. But there's something about being out in the open, or just in almost like a meditative state, with the example of the walking or something that you're doing, something therapeutic. Yeah, just watching your thoughts go by. That felt so nice. And so there's the combination of that is the calling that's matching you to the new person. And so even with that, we're not spinning it out to someone's going to trick you and all of that side. I'm on about the true essence, the genuine connection. Remember, if you're standing in your truth of who you are, and yeah, it's not even like, oh, being the best person and everyone else is a load of rubbish. I'm not trying to say that. You can just be consciously the best person that you can be for yourself, and for what you're going to go into another relationship as well. It's if you've come from whatever, you're moving into something else that you're wanting that equal give and take. We all do. So it's capturing that essence. There's something about that is going to harmonize, which is that harmony. So yeah, it's probably a bit of an odd one or a weird one for people to connect into, because without getting swept away with it being a memory of an ex or a situation or whatever. So obviously for some of you, you may be, when you do reflect, it could bring things up and feeling that you needed to let one thing go in order to have another. And that won't be so apparent until you're crossing paths with whoever it's going to be. And if it's not relationship dynamics in a romantic sense, then it will possibly be a like friend, companion, or something that gives that like soul frequency. Yeah, higher perspective. There's something as well about being giving yourself credit for an honesty within. So maybe you weren't ready for the relationship to end, but you were able to identify or recognize that it was time to call it a day, or that you both weren't on the same page or heading in different directions, something like that. It's easy for people to carry on and just stay in their comfort zone for better the devil they know, rather than recognizing when it's time to leave. And I do appreciate how loaded and generalized that is, and it's different for everyone, which is why the message said that there's a need to give yourself praise for recognizing now's the time to step away, even though it may not have got to a point where tearing shreds off of each other and then walking away with some kind of resentment held on to. So yeah, so that feels like really opening up your spiritual growth. I was just trying to see where they were going with that. I still keep seeing the bottom of a mountain, so something about foundation, the new chapter of this, something about you've been preparing for it. Yeah, now they're showing a stream. Okay, so I'm not sure where that's trying to take us. So let me just carry on, and that just might be a part of a message for some of you. That sacrifice keeps catching my eye as well. So just for others as well, I mean, flipping things a different way, different perspective. You could have had a feeling, let's say if you've met someone or if you do meet someone, and you've overridden that gut feeling, which is why the message started off with healthy ways to test your intuition or strengthen it for you to be able to trust it more. Without putting yourself in a situation where everything is laying on the line for the choice that you're making. So, but you could have overridden that feeling and stood your ground on a logical or whatever, which still makes sense. Overlooked maybe patternings of the past, which is still okay, but a little bit dangerous, because flags and patternings are there for a reason. We don't always notice them, but again, you can't always move forward taking this and applying it to other people. Everyone's got to be met on an individual level. This is why there's that need to have time in between relationships, so you're not just jumping in. You find a lot of people that have been cheated on, that they jump straight into another relationship, and then they're taking all of that insecurity and pain and worry that it's going to happen again for some. So in their head, overthinking, stressed, over analyzing. So again, that can be letting you know that the example just given was overriding something about the intuition and going with the logical mind, and which still was say filtering and overlooking, whereas to remove that over-analysing, overthinking side and going with that gut, being able to trust the intuition that bit more, will override that bit because it can get in the way. So it feels like I'm talking to either someone that is more of a logical thinker, doesn't really think to use their intuition, or it's like, oh, I never think to go with it when I'm in those situations or to draw on it, because not everybody does. That's why they're saying just to practice it, get used to your yes or no feeling when the outcome doesn't hold that much weight, and then you'll start strengthening it just there. It's just as simple as that. All right, so stand your ground. So grudge holder in the reverse. This could be something as well that's it's knowing that fine difference is just because you're standing your ground, not backing down, and doesn't mean you're being confrontational, doesn't mean that you're being stubborn, holding a grudge, whatever. It feels like there's something about how something's received or interpreted in something that you're either standing up for or backing. Could be something. So it doesn't feel like taking sides, but it would be, maybe you could be a neutralizing type of energy. So someone else could stand up against something and be like, oh, they're holding a grudge, that's the only reason they're involved. Whereas there's something about yourself or how you're coming across, or maybe you're a mediator of some kind. And so it doesn't come across like you're coming from a place of like holding a grudge or animosity, something like that. So something could be being taken the wrong way. Maybe as well for some of you, that's what could be linking up to there, that whatever memory or essence you're drawing on as you're reflecting back, because there is an emotional distance or a disconnect because you've healed from it, or it's not giving you a reaction, or whatever the connection to the memories, you're able to view it without it taking you to a place of, oh, and then it turned into this, or, you know, it's like, it's not really bringing anything up. You're able to just view it. So there could be something with that showing the, once you've removed yourself from a situation, or there's enough distance been created between whatever, that when you do cast your mind back, you automatically are viewing it from that higher perspective. There's something along those lines, but it feels it's connecting to standing your ground. Yeah, reframing things, becoming more sensitive. Cyberbully. Okay, so it kind of feels, if we're saying as well the way something's interpreted or received or so, that sometimes people just assume that a situation's impacted you a certain way because they're judging how it would impact if it was done to them, or if they'd gone through or they'd experienced it. We know that that's just an obvious statement, but it feels that maybe a situation in an ending, or what could be classed as bullying, hasn't been interpreted that way by yourself. So something about standing up to us, like, yeah, it's coming forward aggressive or something like that. It's like being judged on actions, but it not being that way. So where would that be coming from then? So maybe it's something to do with friends and family. Maybe even for those that it was maybe one person ending a situation and the other person not wanting that to happen, then those connected to the one that was okay or ended it or whatever, yeah, well, it's like, oh, the one that's sad, it's what am I trying to say? So the example I'm being shown is exactly that. It's people thinking that you're sad from an ending where they're taking it from a particular perspective where you may not have needed weeks, months and years to get over it. So it's being misinterpreted. Or standing your ground for something is like you're masking or you're hiding your true feelings when actually you're not. Or have they even asked your perspective? So again, it's something about assumptions or assuming or other people getting involved. If people are bitter at the end of a relationship, be like, oh, I didn't want it anyway, and then they just start talking shit on people's names, then you've got the friends like, yeah, they jump on board a childish side. We know, but it happens. So we've been seeing it playing out, but it's those people are going to start having things like shoe on the other foot, things like that's going to naturally come back until they get that lesson or that perspective. Or it's again something like this. It's even if it's not relationship, say if someone's friend's done whatever, then when there's a bit more of a distance from the situation, when it doesn't hold any power through the emotions, that when it's thought back over or reflected for whatever reason it would have come up, or yeah, what I don't know why there would be a need, but you get what I'm saying, that it's from there that automatically they're taking a higher perspective, because that it doesn't mean anything, or it doesn't mean as much as it did at the time, which is again all things that we know, but we're trying to bring it forward so it is a little bit more in our conscious mind as we're doing things. Not we've learnt something, we know it, and it's just parked in the back of the brain somewhere, but it's not recalled in the time that we're needing to. So something about reflection and retaining and recalling. Yeah, retaining and recalling. For some reason, I've just saw like people will, yeah, I've got this and we've got this. So just aside something, you could have somebody working overtime and extra to be creating some kind of smear campaign. That's just what was being shown, bits of paper, or show it's like, yeah, I've got this or I've got that, and then it's trying to add something. So I suppose the message with that is if they're going to that much extent, then that definitely is somebody that's holding a grudge for whatever reason. So absolutely stand your ground. Yeah, so that's still coming from that real petty energy that we're trying to distance ourselves from. Yeah, you could be picking up on stuff but not be able to place it. Yeah. And don't feel guilty from separating yourself from those that are giving off that real covert toxic energy or making you feel a certain way, but you can't quite place what it is. There's that confusion. You can sense something's going on, or something's being projected, or you're being made to feel a certain way, but there's nothing that's actually showing itself. So straight away you know that that's mind games, and you do need to be removing yourself from people that are trying to play those games with you, because they're the fucked up ones. So we've got here sacrifice, so it's letting something go, or with that scenario you could be being a sacrifice or a scapegoat for someone masking their pain or their resentment because you've let them go, and then throwing you under the bus type thing for some. So we've got groupie. Suppose that's matching in with the friends. That's, it's too many people jump in on someone else's stuff. But then I suppose if it's like helping out the friend to get someone back, or to find out this, or yeah, that's the bit. It's like further down the line, in hindsight, looking back, how stupid do they feel? Over what? Was it worth it? What did you get out of it? Or, oh, just helping a friend, or yeah, can't stand you, I done it for my own laughs and kicks, which that's okay, because they're able to stand with their actions. But there are going to be people that are looking to show some kind of decency towards others. Shit people that don't give a shit about people are never going to change. So no one's looking for their opinion or discussion on feelings or how they impact others and things like that. Win-win. So we've got sacrifice. Too busy winning. And that's the thing, it's that kind of petty toxic energy. You've got to trust your gut that you're picking up on subtle energies or something, and be able to sever something and walk away. Because people that are like this, and there's mixtures of everyone in with all kinds of friends group, work groups and all the rest of it, we know that. But a lot of these people, like we're seeing, they don't give a shit, they're not going to change, that works for them and they're fine, and so they will always stay that way. Or you've got those that are spiritually capped or not interested in that same healing growth journey that clearly you're moving down that route, so they will always just stay in that bit. That's why there's a need for you to be strong and separate yourself. Sometimes it will mean that you could be a little bit solo or isolated for a period of time, but in itself that does make sense, because that's the healing process. It's separating from group identity, reconnecting with your individuality, and then moving forward, and then the cycles, new people cross your path and new experiences come into play. But you're in that isolation period because you're reflecting back, releasing, and so on. Doesn't mean that you've got to be stuck there forever and a day. So yeah, feels a little bit, yeah, maybe it's something. It's like, feels like it's someone that's, yeah, maybe you have just come out of a relationship, or you're considering ending something, and just thinking how's it going to be or something like that. Maybe just the idea process, or just casting the mind back. Yeah. All right, so I am going to just leave that there. We've got, I am the dreamer of my dream. I am the loving energy of the universe. Yeah. A holiday at home. Holiday at home? Yeah. All right, I'm going to come out of this one, and I hope it did give you something. It feels quite, yeah, quite a deep one. So there you go. Bye-bye.